Hi, this is Auntie Kay, and I'm going to do a VR to Panda Bennett's My Why, and I'm going to talk about the collection I have and why I made the choices I've made in my collection and how I came to have my collection. For folks who watch my channel, I've talked previously about my long, difficult beginning with tarot. Um, I didn't I didn't connect with a lot of the images in tarot. I struggled. I struggled to connect with the meanings. I knew the meanings. I learned the meanings. I didn't like them. I reinterpreted them a lot. This is entirely why I created the Land Back Tarot. Um, and my first, I do have a spreadsheet. Um, my first 6 decks all lasted 1 to 2 years. Oh no, there's some exceptions. 2 exceptions. In my use. 2 ended up in my daughter Coco's hands, and others, the kids played with them, destroyed them, lost pieces, and I gave 2 of those away as well. I wasn't like really connected with them, and I wasn't finding the decks I liked until I started to find the decks I liked. But once I started to find the decks I liked, I was like, oh, I can just like all kinds of decks. And so my initial like, oh, I found finally finding decks I like was messy, and I wasn't like all that happy with them after like, a bit of a honeymoon period. And so my my spreadsheet has a lot of color coding based on, I dislike this so much I'm not giving it to anybody. 2 decks, neoliberal racism. To I gifted this, or I'm going to give this away, or I'm contemplating selling some. I have 4 or 5 decks right now that are packed up because I'm not using them, so I'm going to pass them on. I live in a small space. This is an 18 by 9 foot trailer that is old. So part of my collection has to do with the size of space I live in, plus needing multiple decks because I do read for other people regularly. And this year, in my taxes, so, 1 or 2 wasn't like great for me. I prefer having several to choose from, but I am also limited by space, and my limited space is like a choice. I do choose really carefully where I'm spending my money. I find conversations on ethics of collecting miss the mark. We are spending money in capitalism or saving money in capitalism. Whether you have like 300 decks or 30 decks or 3 decks or 1 decks, the reality is you are most likely, no, the reality is you are either spending or saving to create more money under capitalism, whether you're spending it all on one thing or a whole bunch of things. We are still spending our money on things to satisfy our unpleasant lives under this society. You can spend it on, 300 different things in your household, or 300 of the same thing in your household. But either way, you've purchased the same number of things and spent the same amount of money you would have. Either way. And that's largely going to be reliant on your income. And, yeah. I don't think buying 300 decks is somehow less ethical than buying 300 different things. We're still upholding the same systems and bringing in the same amount of material into our lives and our homes. If you collect something, it will be a lot easier for people to point a finger at how you are spending your money than if you don't collect something. But either way, we're all spending our spare money, whatever we personally call spare money, on things we want. And for some people, that's things within a themed group. And, yeah. My deck collection, is currently at, oh damn, it's currently at 23, but there is like 6 tarot decks out here, and 9 oracle decks out here. And the rest are in various categories of what I'm doing with them, or deciding if I'm keeping them or not keeping them, and how I'm passing them on. Because I'm picky. I'm picky about the diversity I want and expect in a deck. And, sometimes like a deck might meet my expectations, but maybe like it's just not working with me. I see these cards as tools, and I need to find the ones that fit comfortably in my hands. And although not literally, because actually a lot of them don't literally fit comfortably in my hands, but metaphorically speaking, fit comfortably in my hands. In my mind, maybe that's where they need to fit comfortably. And I love art, and so that's one of the things I like about tarot cards. I enjoy the books because I enjoy other insights, but then sometimes I don't enjoy the books. Sort of goes and varies. I've never been disappointed by not having a book either. But I think some decks probably would make, I would want a book. If what else about my wives and my collections? I don't have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I never had a really actual Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I don't like them. I've had a lot of Rider-Waite base decks, and how much that image data varied has varied, but the more Rider-Waite-like ones have not remained in my collection largely. My two most... Okay, the only 2 decks out here that, are like really, really Rider-Waite would be... this is as close as it's going to get. Kaleidodope and Star Spinner. But those are the understandings I read with, but, from my own perspective and worldview. And I'm basically searching for cards that help me speak the messages that, are, I have from my worldview, because whether you think so or not, we each read from our own worldviews, our own understandings in life. That's where we think from, where we act from, and definitely where we usually are getting messages from when we're putting them into our words. And I think that I notice how the images and the messages in the cards interplay on my worldview versus the imposed worldview we all sit under like capitalist white supremacy. So I keep looking for decks that help me speak through my own voice and not an imposed colonial voice. And that's what I keep looking for.